We are witnessing a top 5 running back in the history of the NFL, and a guy who will undoubtedly be donning a gold jacket one day as he gives his Hall of Fame speech in Canton. But how did Christian McCaffrey reach greatness? And what is it about him that makes him the most elusive and diverse running back that we have ever seen? And we're going to be uncovering the steps to McCaffrey's mastery and breaking down exactly why he is a step above Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, and Walter Payton.
Number 26, Christian McCaffrey.
Stay low, blow out of that cut. Stay low.
Christian McCaffrey has always been a sporty kid. It's in his blood. His father, Ed McCaffrey, played for 13 years in the NFL, winning 3 Super Bowls as a member of the San Francisco 49ers and Denver Broncos in the 90s. His mother, Lisa, was also a multi-sport athlete, running track and excelling at tennis and soccer. Lisa's father, Dave Syme, was considered one of the fastest track athletes in the world in the 1950s, winning silver in the 100 meters in Rome in 1960. I mean, it's pretty fair to say McCaffrey was born with the genetics to succeed on the field, but his parents made sure to give him every opportunity to realize his talents from a very young age. Both of his parents would coach him, and he was encouraged to play basketball, baseball, lacrosse, soccer, and of course, football. He played his first season of tackle football at the age of 7 and was on an NFL field making highlight plays almost immediately. I mean, hell, in the middle of one of his dad's own games, he was out there juking out the mascots.
And it's Christian McCaffrey. He's at the 25, the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Christian McCaffrey.
Clearly, the kid was made for the bright lights, but he had a lot of work to do before he could get there. He committed himself to every sport he could manage.
Play football, basketball, and I run track at Valley Christian High School.
And now as a pro, claims that his ability to play various sports at a competitive level all culminated into his success on the football field.
I feel like by playing basketball and track, I not only get to have a lot of fun with a lot of great teammates, but I also get to benefit more football skills, for example, quickness and speed.
What you witness today is a product of endless work across multiple sports. The perfect concoction of talent, practice, and perseverance to find the very best version of himself as an athlete. I mean, hell, in high school, McCaffrey was playing some astounding football. What you see on your TVs now on Sundays, he's been doing since he was in Pee Wee, and in high school, he started to attract national attention. While playing for the Valor Christian Eagles, McCaffrey set several state records in Colorado. He played running back, wide receiver, and kick and punt returner. I mean, he could do it all. And over the course of his high school career, he posted 141 total touchdowns, 47 receiving touchdowns, and over 8,000 all-purpose yards, all of which marked new state records. He went on to be named the Colorado Gatorade Football Player of the Year 2 seasons in a row for both his junior and senior seasons. And I mean, with the production that he was putting out on tape, it's no surprise that many of the big name schools came knocking at his door. Florida State, Oregon, Ohio State, and Michigan all showed significant interest in the 4-star recruit, but CMC had plans to continue to follow in his parents' footsteps. Both had been student athletes at the University of Stanford.
Well, I think Christian's first step in making a name for himself, honestly, was coming to Stanford, where he knew his dad had a name, and he didn't back down from it one bit because he doesn't back down from challenges. He was going to carve out his own niche, and he's done that.
He had appreciated the interest from some of the college football elite programs, but the opportunity to play at the same school his father had played was enough to secure his commitment. And it didn't take long for McCaffrey to make waves in college either. And I mean, even his former running back coach Lance Taylor compared him to legendary NFL running back Marshall Faulk. Taylor cited that CMC's work ethic and preparation separates him, and that was clear in his college production. By the time he was headed to the NFL, McCaffrey had almost totaled 4,000 rushing yards, over 1,200 receiving yards, and 31 touchdowns. In his second season in 2015, the sophomore decimated Barry Sanders' NCAA record for the most all-purpose yardage in a single college football season, and because of that, was named the AP College Football Player of the Year. Once again, Christian McCaffrey had separated himself from the pack, and in doing so, was rewarded when the Carolina Panthers drafted him with the 8th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft. He signed a 4-year, $17 million contract and had officially made it to the big leagues. But that wasn't any time for him to slow down. In fact, McCaffrey pressed the pedal harder than ever on his motivation to be great.
Lacks desired size of an every down back. Takes foot off gas into contact. Doesn't have NFL caliber power to break tackles and create yardage for himself. Can shake tacklers but lacks a twitchy burst to accelerate away after the cut. Slow.
Yeah, that's what it means. You're slow.
Yeah.
In his rookie season, it was McCaffrey's impressive ability as a pass-catching back that shone early in his career. Carolina did have veteran Jonathan Stewart picking up yardage between the tackles, but they made sure CMC was involved early on in the receiving game. That season, he caught 86 passes for a total of 752 receiving yards, leading the team in receptions and second in receiving only to wide receiver Devin Funchess. I mean, the running back was getting just as much catches as the wide receiver. He wasn't the volume running back that we're used to seeing now that he has some experience in the league, but would increase his volume as a pure running back in his sophomore season in the league in 2018. CMC nearly doubled his rushing attempts in just 1 year. Jonathan Stewart had moved on, and Christian McCaffrey was now considered the 3-down back for the team. He was now getting an opportunity to showcase his unbelievable competitive nature, something that had supported his journey from a very young age. His partnership with Cam Newton in the backfield was enough to give defenses nightmares, even if Cam was now reaching the later years of his professional career. That year, McCaffrey had eclipsed 1,000 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards a carry. He then continued his work as a receiving back with an astounding 108 receptions for 874 receiving yards and another 6 touchdowns. He was voted a second-team All-Pro and now one of the most dangerous running backs in the league, with a generational ability to make an impact both as a pure runner and as a receiver out of the backfield. The new rising star was going from strength to strength, and 2019 brought him a well-deserved first Pro Bowl appearance. McCaffrey was the NFL's #1 running back in 2019. He rushed for 1,387 yards and 15 touchdowns, while catching 116 passes for 1,005 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Panthers. That season, McCaffrey joined Roger Craig and Marshall Faulk as the only players in NFL history to accomplish the 1,000-yard rushing and 1,000-yard receiving feat. And it's kind of interesting too that his college running back coach had said that he was just like Faulk back in 2015, and now in 2019, he was matching his records. He was rewarded at the end of the year with a brand new deal in Carolina, paying him $64 million over the course of the next 4 seasons. He'd had one of the best single season performances of any running back in the history of the game, and would now be paid as the NFL's highest earning running back for multiple years to come. 2019 seemed to be the peak for McCaffrey though, who then endured injuries that derailed the following 2 campaigns. He was banged up throughout 2020, taking too many hits with a high volume of work as the Panthers' key playmaker. He suffered a high ankle sprain in the Week 2 game against Tampa Bay and ended up missing 6 games as a result. Then, in his first game back, McCaffrey suffered an AC joint sprain in his shoulder, costing him another 4 games. He faced similar woes in 2021 too, this time playing in 7 games amidst complications with a hamstring injury early in the year and an ankle injury that forced him off the field for the remainder of the season in Week 12 against the Miami Dolphins. Having played in just 10 games in 2 seasons, worries about his durability started to creep in, with the high volume of work taking its toll on his body early in his career. McCaffrey believes the running back position is the best in football, but it's also one of the toughest on a player's body. When his Carolina days came to an end, it felt as though the Carolina Panthers were trading out of a banged up running back whose best days in the league might have been behind him. He hadn't played a full season in 2 years and was taking less carries early in the 2022 season than he had prior to his injuries. After 6 weeks of the year, a rebuilding Carolina franchise decided to trade him, bringing an end to long drawn out rumors that he might be on the move. He landed in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan, which would prove to be the makings of one of the all-time greatest partnerships between an offensive coach and a superstar caliber player. And to say the least, the results were astounding, with McCaffrey going out and putting together one of his most productive seasons as a pro in only his first weeks in a Niners uniform. Kyle Shanahan has been absolutely cooking with McCaffrey, and now he's behind one of the best offensive lines he's ever had in San Francisco. The idea that McCaffrey might have been damaged goods with a slow decline heading his way is now long gone, and instead, CMC has returned to all-pro worthy status in his 6th season and 7th year as a pro. And don't get me wrong, it might not have been the ideal scenario for the Panthers to trade him, but they have afforded him the opportunity to compete for championships in the prime years of his career. Now a 49er, CMC has one of the greatest offensive minds of a generation calling his plays, and is lining up as part of an offense with Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. Together, they often appear to be unguardable and are helping Brock Purdy to be a part of the MVP conversation with their dynamic offense. McCaffrey will now go down as one of the best running backs in the history of the game, living up to the comparison he once drew to the great Marshall Faulk. There's no doubt he'll one day join Faulk in the NFL Hall of Fame, but will he also add the Super Bowl ring to his resume as Faulk did as a part of the greatest show on turf? Do you believe Christian McCaffrey can win a Super Bowl ring? How many All-Pros do you think he'll retire with? Let us know down in the comments section below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.